a situation where a group or we're excluding anyone, I view that as extreme. So my position on this is that integration, with all its flaws, is the desired outcome. And Terry, you said what?
Well, I say, so let me, so I don't want to give the, like I always say, I don't want to give the impression that I'm anti-white, anti-Asian, anti-Hispanic, any of that. You know what I mean? I'm all for, like I said, I love everybody. I love whoever love us or whoever love me. But on the same token, when we talk about systematic oppression and you know, how our infrastructure is set up, where we don't have the same equity in this country as other people do. It's almost like we're still 3/5 of a person. The way we're treated, right, by our government, by the people, you know, in charge, right. So what I'm saying is, we've been doing the same things for hundreds of years. We protest, we march, we loot, we you know, we vote. We do everything we're supposed to do, and we don't get the change that we're supposed to have. Black people built this country. They kidnapped us from over in Africa, you know, human trafficked us over here, built this country, and then turned their back on us. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, in order for us to create change, in order for us to build that equality that we so desperately keep literally begging for, we have to make that change ourselves. We can't wait for someone else to come and change our situation. So because we know that that's not going to happen, right?
Okay, all right.
Wait, let me finish. All right, let me ask you a question real quick.
Wait, get God's opinion. Let's get everybody involved.
Go ahead,
and then we'll swing it back. God, what are your thoughts, man, so far?
Black nationalism or integration or somewhere in between. I'm all for Black nationalism. I wouldn't say versus integration. I think Black nationalism can exist inside of America. I think we've always taken pride in who we are, and we've always been a community built on love and respect for each other. And a lot of that didn't change until, you know, the recent past. So the challenge to Black nationalism versus integration is, are we the type of people who want to exclude? Are we the type of people who don't want to share, you know, our technology and our culture and our thoughts and our, you know, just everything?
That's separatism. That's different.
Well, when you say Black,
let me finish. So that versus integration, I think with integration you got a lot of benefits because you're sharing ideas with different groups. You can advance, you can, you know, build on things. Versus not necessarily separatism, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Black nationalism.
Well, then what is Black nationalism? Maybe I don't understand it. When you say Black nationalism, what are you saying? What do you define it?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'll tell you the exact definition of it because we talked about this the other day.
It's when you teach your culture and you're behind your culture, when you are aware of your roots and you try to build a foundation on those roots.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, so
it's not about that's what I was trying to tell you. It's not about they're not mutually exclusive. Like you can have a Black nation and still integrate with other cultures. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to have that self-awareness of who you are, where you came from, and we have to teach that to our people. You know what I'm saying? And one other thing too. Let me get back to what I was going to ask you before. What's your nationality?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, what's your when someone asks you what your nationality is, most time a black person would say African American, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Hispanic, a Latino would say a Hispanic American or Latino American or Chinese American. When you ask a white person what is their nationality, they say I'm American. So until we can walk that same pathway and say I'm American. No, wait, let me finish. Until we can say I'm American, I'm just until we're identified as American, we're not American. To call me African American is almost saying that I'm that 3/5 that they was talking about before.
I disagree with that too, though. Maybe you've never heard Italian American? You never heard of an Italian? When you ask an Italian person what their nationality is, they say I'm Italian or I'm Greek, or so they do the same thing, though, right? Isn't that the same thing?
Most of the time when you hear that, they're not from here.
Huh?
Most of the time when you hear if you go up to somebody and they're a white person, they're not going to say first thing they say I'm an Italian American. No, they're going to say they're American.
No, I think that if they're talking to a foreigner, they will. But if you walk up to someone, a person, and ask them their nationality, they're gonna I'm part Irish or blah blah blah, and they're gonna tell you their heritage.
Well, that's true because they know where they come from. They have their
isn't that the same as saying I'm African American? Isn't that the same?
Where are you from, Stace?
I'm African American.
Where are you from? No. Africa's a big place. Where you from?
You mean like country in Africa?
Where are you from? It's a simple question.
I don't understand your question.
That's my point. You don't understand a simple question like where are you from because you don't know.
Correct. I don't know what country in Africa I'm from.
And the thing is,
that's not due. I'm from I did the ancestry thing, so I do know.
But what I'm saying is most African Americans have no idea where they're from.
And right?
so let's bring it back. We're not taught our own history.
Okay, so
right?
let's bring it back. So when we talk about now, I looked up the definition of black national. I'm going to read it. Dictionary, especially the advocacy for or support of for unity and political self-determination for black people, especially in the form of a separate black nation. So you disagree with that definition?
No, I don't disagree with that at all.
Why
can't you have a separate black?
Listen, go ahead. Especially in the form of a separate black nation. Is that what you're saying you want?
Yes.
So that's not integration. A separate black nation is not integration.
You can be a part. You can be a. Why can't you be a part of the black nation the same way I'm a part of the white nation? The white nation that we live in, you're a part of it. You're a black man. And wait, let me finish.
Okay,
you're a black man. You are a black man in a white nation. Is that true or no?
I'm a what? Say it again.
You are a black man in a white nation.
In a majority white nation. Yes.
No, not majority white. This is a white nation.
What does that mean?
Everybody that is in charge of anything here is white.
So that's see, I don't. Okay, guy. So, guy. Okay, you looked it up. But let's bring Guy back in. What do you have, Guy?
No, I dropped the definition here. I think just because it has separate and it is different than integration, right? So if it's different than integration, it's not integration.
Correct.
I think someplace in the middle is fine with me, but I am A-okay with separation. But historically, the term separate or separate but equal, the way it's been applied has never been equal. So if there was a way to figure something out for black folks in America, like Greenwood or Tulsa or, one of those places where we could thrive and not necessarily just fall victim to the oppression of America, we would thrive. So
now I think we're talking about two different things. So, Guy, I have a question for you then. are you advocating? Do you think that the position, like your position, I'm sure that you think that your position is right, both of you. Since you think that separation, do you think that the position or the plight of black people should be to separate from this thing here? Separation?
No, what I think is I support the right to choose either or something in between.
There's a difference.
I support integration. I support separation. I support what you want as a black person, because I'm not.
But we're asking about what you think. Do you advocate for separation?
Stace, why does it have to be separate? Why does it have to be separation?
Because that's the definition of the word.
The definition of black nationalism is separate.
That's the definition of the word.
No,
like, you
can have your separate. Wait. Just like that. That's like the difference between, the GOP and the.
No, it's not like, I read the definition.
Why? Because you can be a be a Democrat and you can be a Republican and y'all can be in the same. Y'all can be in same represent.
I read the definition.
Country.
The last sentence in the definition of black nationalism, and Guy echoed this: a political self-determination for black people, especially in the form of a separate black nation. Has nothing to do with integration.
Right. So what's wrong? What I'm asking you is what's wrong with the separate black nation? What's the problem with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I believe in integration. I don't think, if that's what some people want to advocate for, I don't agree with that. I believe in integration.
You're saying you can't have both?
No, you can't have both, Knight. Either you want to be separate or you want to integrate. It's either one of the two. Right? Guy, am I wrong?
Yeah, it's hard to have separation and integration at the same time.
By definition.
So if you had a black nation, right? Let's say we were, let me ask this question. Since they don't call us Americans, they call us African Americans, right? So why wouldn't we be able to have our own African America, right?
What?
We're still in the same place. Wait, listen, we're still in the same place, but our tax structures should be different because we paid our dues. We should have a lesser taxable income. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and all of that can be wrapped into reparations.
So the Japanese people that got
nation.
So Knight, see, and this is where it becomes a slippery slope, because then when does it end? Although I do believe that some form of reparation is warranted, I believe that. But so you're talking about what the government?
Where does it end? When does it start?
No. No. So are you saying the government set New Jersey to the side and say that's only for black people? What is it that you're saying should happen?
No.
Or what?
I'm just saying that
you pay less in taxes.
We should have different rules and exceptions to in order to pay us back for the trauma and all of the shit that we went through in this country. Let me ask you. Here. I did a little research this week because I knew we were going to get into this pretty good, right? So, have you ever heard of the NWO or the NTO?
No.
That's the New World Order and the World Trade Organization.
Oh, I heard of it with WTO. Yeah.
You know what those? You know who those organizations are run by? I'll give you one guess.
The biggest countries, like the biggest economies,
which would be the U.S., Europe. Now I think
China.
I think Russia is in it. China hasn't gotten in it yet.
Okay,
but
WTO,
every country that's not this. You get me?
But you do. Okay, let me ask you.
Wait. Let me finish.
Wait, don't.
Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Since you brought it up, the WTO is out for World Trade Organizations. So the purpose of the WTO is to make sure that the trading practices between countries are fair. So it's the biggest economies are part of the WTO. Now. Right. When a country
and that's what my point is. So who runs that? Who owns that?
No. No one owns it. You become a member. It's almost like the
who's a member, Stace?
Huh?
You
No, no,
you
let
hitting
me-
me
let me say
on
this.
you hitting me on like phonetics. You know what I mean? Like
No one owns it, Nike. It's an organization that you become a member of, like the G. What is it called? The
the G7, right?
The G7, correct. So no one owns it. But what my point is that
Right. You have
let
members.
me
How
finish
many
this.
black members do you have?
Once a country, the economy is large enough, and there's enough trade between other countries, they can join the WTO. They
How
have
many black people are in it? All I'm asking, Stacey, is how many black people is in these organizations?
I don't know. Maybe none. Maybe none.
Look this one up. Look this one up. Why you looking it up?
So what your point is? What?
Wait.
Like,
No,
what is your point of bringing that up?
Because what I'm trying to get through to you is like we don't own anything.
What does that have to do with integrations?
What you mean? What it mean?
Well,
black people don't own anything in this country, Stace.
So that's you say that to say what? You say that to say what?
That in order for us to
separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in order for us to get our own, they're not gonna give it to us. We have to build our own. That's what I'm saying.
Or like a lot of us do, fight hard enough and you get your own. They didn't give Jay-Z or any of them other people anything. Am I right, guy? They fought for that, right?
How many Jay-Z's?
A good bit of folks were given, like Koreans after the Korean War, they were given reparations. Japanese were given theirs. Jews were given reparations.
I agree with the reparations.
A lot of folks were given, a little check for their contribution or their suffering in society.
I'm good with that. I said that earlier. I do believe in some form of reparations
too. Listen, I got my record label was called Reparations or Ransom, so I'm all for reparations. So I mean that's my twist. I'm all for reparations, and as a piece to either separation or integration, I believe reparations should be a part of it, and that should be in the
happen. Period.
Yeah,
some form of reparations should happen. Period. But again, just to bring it full circle, I just don't believe that that the answer is set aside a state or whatever and say this is
that's not
that's
not
that's
what
separation.
I'm saying. No, it's
that's
not
separation. I mean,
that's not what I'm saying.
No, as much as you want, Nike.
I'm not talking about giving nobody a state. What do you? That's ridiculous. I'm not talking about giving somebody a state. I'm just talking about having black people recognized as African Americans, like having an African American classification.
We already have
an African, huh?
You want an African American classification?
All right. Now, hey, look this up. Bohemian Grove. Look up Bohemian Grove and tell me what that is.
All right. Okay. I can't. Well, you mean now?
Right now.
Well, we got 20. It's
you
20
just looked
after.
up the other joint. All right. Bohemian Grove. or Bilderberger's group.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
All right.
And the Masons that took over the world.
Who owns what? Who owns what?
I got you. And I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm
saying?
One
world order, and I got you.
Until we have our half of that, things ain't right.
I got you.
You get me?
One world order. They taking over everything.
They are.
I got you. I understand. God, what, man? What you thinking, man? What you thinking, God? What you thought?
What's next on the agenda? Where are we going with the next? What's next? What we got?
Hey, put on this tin hat.
We're not going to resolve that one tonight. That one ain't going to get resolved tonight.
God, put on this tin hat.
That's real shit. That's real shit. Y'all better wake up.
Basically, Terry said, once you go past Alaska, you can fall off, right?
All right, y'all can laugh, but that's real shit. I did my homework.
I know plenty of people that fell off. All right.
All right. So hey, if y'all think I'm lying, look up Bohemian Grove or Bilderberger's Group or Trilateral Commission. Either one of them. Look them up. Hey, don't take my word for it. I'm crazy. I've been to the
I got you.
The club Cuckoo Vacation.
We're gonna move to the next one. We got wait a minute. Let's read a comment. Doing both means to be inside America while carving out your own. We've seen others do it. Jews, Asians, Catholic, Mormons inside America. See, again, I'm for now. This is the difference. Well, no, we say we're gonna move on. We say we're gonna move on. We need to get back to that one later. All right. So we got is the relationship over once someone calls the police? We got real ones, and we got the driving equity bill. All right, guy, we coming to you. Where you want to go, man? You say what?
I want to hear y'all take on the cops, and I know State's take on it, but I want to know what everybody else take is on calling the cops on your loved one, on your partner, on your companion, this person you pledged to be with for the rest of your life, and now you got to call these folks to come in and crack them upside the head. I want to know what that part is about.
Nice. Well, you know what, guy? What are your thoughts then, man? Because I think you just kind of encapsulated a lot of it. If you took a vow to be with someone, you know, through thick and thin, calling the police on someone, which can change someone's life for the rest of their lives. Right. Is the relationship over once you reach that level where you feel like you need to call the cops? All right, we coming to you, Knight. What do you say, guy?
What I say is you damn right. If you feel like, because me, you know how I feel about the cops, right? Anybody that I'm engaged in any kind of relationship with, I don't care if it's a friendship or if it's an acquaintance or if it's somebody that I met on the street and I've known you now for 5 minutes. The topic has probably come up that I don't like to interact or engage with law enforcement, and I don't believe in what they stand for, and I oppose policing in our communities. The whole nine. You give me a soapbox, I'll stand on it for hours. But so that being the case, whoever I would date or be with or partner with, if she would think at any time that she needed to call the cops on me, it was over at the point where she had the thought. Because if you feel like that, that means that's pretty much you drawing your weapon. That means you pulling out on me. That means you pulling a weapon on me, because that's what you're doing when you call the cops. And now, and for whatever reason, I don't know what the reason is. I know that the reason would never be me putting this woman in harm or harming her in any way, because I've never been a person who would put his hands on a woman, and I never have. But so if it ever came to her even thinking about that relationship is over the moment she has the thought that she might even have to call law enforcement to deal with me in any kind of way at all. That's me. So yeah, it's over. It's a wrap.
Now, but okay, well, Terry, what are your thoughts, man? I see you were nodding your head a big resounding yes.
Yeah, but cuz man, like, first of all, I don't want to sit here and lie either. I only have put my hands on a woman one time, and it was my sister. Right? And that was because her and my mom got into like a literal, it was a whole thing. But anyway, excluding that, I don't think you should put your hands on a person on a wait a minute, you know what? There was one other time I can remember. But anyway. Yeah.
I did a couple other times.
Listen to what I'm saying though. If you make me mad enough or you disrespect me bad enough where I have to do something to you for you to call the cops, we can't be together.
Wow.
Like, we can't be together. Like, it's too, like, if we ain't getting along to that extent, like, what? How can?
But then let's go back to what Guy said. Then, what about the till thick and thin? Or, I mean, what if things just got rough one night and that was the first time? Do you really throw all of that away for a quote unquote mistake or
if it was a mistake and she didn't call the cops?
What you mean?
Bought her some flowers and some candy and you made up. All right, well, maybe we can work through that. But if you call the cops on me, that means you want me out. I mean, that means you want me in jail. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. I think, you know what? I wonder if we as black men feel a different way about it, because like I said, we know that if once the cops come for us to, like Guy said, I mean, it can escalate really quickly for us, because it probably shouldn't be this way. It should probably be a domestic disturbance, go sit in the station for a little while, cool off, and then go back home later. But we probably feel so strongly, and I guess I'm asking y'all,
Do we feel so strongly about it because we know how, as it relates to us, things spiral out of control so quickly that it's like if you call, like I said before, calling the cops on me is like going to the trunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because the same thing, they come, they not asking no questions.
Yeah.
They got their guns drawn first, and then they like, you know, after something. Oh, why was I here again? You know what I mean? Like they pulling them guns first and then ask questions. So yeah, if you put my life in jeopardy like that, man, what we got to talk about after that?
Yeah, you know.
What you think about it, Stace?
No,
You seem like
agree.
you might be on the fence a little bit.
No.
He cool with it because you know it's the cops. He cool with the cops.
No. As I said, I'll repeat it. I wonder if we feel so strongly about it because we know how things spiral out of control. So no, I agree. You know, I think if anything, call your family, lock the doors. But like you said, once you call the cop, especially to use Terry's point though, if I'm so angry that I'm wilding out to the point where you need to call the cops, then them showing up probably is not going to be able to get me to calm down. So now if they come in, I'm still at that level, I'm bound to get shot.
But you think that's okay? You think that's okay for other people?
What you mean, Knight? Well, see, but again,
you know, you always like, I call the cops. I call the cops.
But you know what, like, but listen to this. No, but for other people would get the scenario that it should be a domestic dispute. They put them in the back of the truck. We're going to take you down to the station and you're going to stay there till you cool off. For other people.
I'm not talking about those other people. I'm talking about when you standing on the steps and you calling the cops on a brother that's zooming down the street or a brother that you see is getting ready to fight and you call the cops. You putting them in the same situation that you just said that you don't want to be in.
See, no, now that's you changing the subject, but I'm going to address it. When I talked about calling the cops, using the example that you just laid out there regarding the conversation that we had months ago, the question was if you see the dude outside in the street with a gun. Remember that guy? That was the question. And then you said, I'm going to take my gun and walk out there with him, which I disagree with. I said in that scenario, that dude is out there with the gun. Yes, I'm calling the cops. Yes.
Well, what about the scenario where you said the boys was driving down your street real fast on them on the what you call it?
No, and I stand by that. Now, Terry, remember my whole. Let me finish that thought. Remember, my whole thing is say something to somebody. Something has to happen. If you're not going to interject yourself and to stop whatever that is that's going on, your only other recourse is to make a phone call, unless you're going to do it yourself. So again, I stand by that because I think the reason why we are where we are now is because everyone is doing what. And I don't want to be pointing the finger, but everybody's sitting back, letting everything happen in the community. And that's why things go downhill because no one says anything. Evidently, you always talk about how we protesting and nothing happens. Well, we sit here and let stuff happen and nothing changes. So that can't continue. That is unacceptable. That's not acceptable to continue to let mugs terrorize our neighborhood. And we know who's doing it. And not say one word, you don't confront them and not do anything. That's why we're where we are now. So, and
I didn't say not confront them. I didn't say that. I said we were talking about the police.
I said, now you gotta hear me out. I said if you aren't gonna do anything about it, and your only other if it's a woman, and you're afraid to go out there and interject yourself with these people that are out here wilding out about to cause some ruckus, and you aren't gonna interject yourself. You don't let it continue to escalate. You make the call. And I stand by that. And I'll say that to him blue in the face. Guy, what are your thoughts?
I wanted to put another spin on it. What if is it over for you and your mate if somebody else calls the cops?
See, but no, because Wait, is that a question for me, or you just throwing it out there?
I'm just throwing it out there to kick it around a little bit. If you and your mate is in the house or whatever, y'all arguing, maybe y'all have an apartment and y'all got neighbors on either side, or a townhouse, or even a single, and your windows is open and your neighbors can hear you. And every now and then y'all get a little heated in y'all little arguments or whatever, and the neighbors call the cops on you a couple times. Or you out and there's a scene call. Is somebody called the cops on y'all because there's a little scene out there? Not necessarily something that got physical on either time, but is it over then too? See, like, suppose you the one that catch this charge or whatever. Like, if it is a charge,
because I think that from my perspective, and we'll go to Nike next. From my perspective, the issue that I had was I thought that my spouse is putting me in danger by calling the cops, because then that can escalate and I get shot. The neighbor don't care. The neighbor's just saying you're being a nuisance, you're being too loud. So I don't think you could blame the spouse on that. What do you think, Knight?
If your neighbor calls the cop,
right? Is it over then?
Like, it might not be over. It depends, because sometimes neighbors can mistake a bad argument or something for something. You know what I mean? So I would have to think on that. If the cops came for somebody else calling, like I probably would have to think about that. It depends on what the situation was. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, like, as far as just basically calling the cops on just black people in general, I just think that I ain't saying you should never do it. Well, I've never done it, but I'm not saying that it should never be done. It depends on the situation, but I don't know of a lot of situations where you need to call the police.
Okay. I mean, you know what though? You know what's funny? We always talk about how people aren't doing anything, and there's so much violence in the streets, and we know who's out there causing the ruckus. We look at that differently. I believe when you know the person that's causing the ruckus, you do something about it. Because to me, the ultimate goal, the ultimate issue is doing something to protect the community. So if those people that are out there doing that, causing that problem and breaking in stores and all that kind of stuff, if it takes cutting that person out for the betterment of the community, do it. You disagree with that. You say let it ride, because I'm not going to call the cops. So we just disagree.
Say it again. What's the scenario again? If I'm just saying let it ride.
If we know the person that's causing all the problems, and we know Lil Johnny's in the street with the gun, and he's the one that shot somebody, whatever. Yeah. If we know, I say to protect the community, do something about it. Make the call. Y'all say no because the cops might come and they might shoot Lil Johnny. Y'all say let Johnny continue to do what he's doing, but don't call the cops. We just disagree.
I didn't say let Johnny do what he's going to do. I said you got to be able to do something. As
not everybody's gonna do something.
And I said,
what I was saying was you got to be able to do something as a community member if you see Lil Johnny.
But God, that's where we are now. Evidently, the community's not doing anything, are they?
I'm doing something in my community.
You are,
and that's where it all starts. You got to be the change that you want to see.
But God, is that the majority? Are you the majority, or is that the minority? I'm
definitely a part of a growing percentage of people in our communities who see the need for us to be a part of the solution and not rely on law enforcement, do as much as we possibly can to actually have law enforcement withdraw from our communities because of the negative impact that they have on our community members.
Now, you know what?
What I was saying earlier, I agree with you on certain circumstances. So if Johnny went and just blew somebody's brains out, and you see Johnny standing on the corner, all right, with that one, okay, yeah, let's call the cops and see what the fuck is wrong with Johnny, right? You know what I'm saying? But in a domestic dispute,
I agree with you. No cops.
Somebody driving down the street fast.
No, call the cops. And now remember, two things, Nike. Now remember, let me tell you this though, Nike. The dude that was driving a car now remember, I told you when that dude did that, what did he do after that? Remember, I told you, God, what happened in that scenario? Do you remember?
I can't recall what happened.
He jumped the medium and ran head on into two other cars. and he was a white boy.
Mm.
He ran head on into two other cars, and when he did that, the two older people that he ran into, her airbag deployed, she's in a car banged up. He was trying to load his car into the flatbed to leave. Since I made the call, he didn't get away. So therefore, I stand by that again. I would make that call again, because had I not done that, he would have got away and he would still be out here racing now. And let me tell you this, they haven't done it since.
Would you agree that this is a different scenario, Stace?
No.
Would you agree that that's a different?
Don't muddy the
because
water.
he crashed the car into some old people.
The question was,
not a different scenario.
I make the call. The question is, when I see something happening, do you do something about it? Or what you're saying is be reactive. No, that's not the answer. The answer is be proactive. When you see something happening, you do something. You don't wait until someone dies, then make the call. When you see the army of angry people,
how can you make the call before they do something, Stacey?
Because I made the call when
it's only one thing you can call the cops is proactive. You can't call the cops before somebody actually does something. So I don't understand that part right there. Like,
God, what do you think, man?
I think this is a perfect segue into our driving equity bill. When you're talking about driving, right? Main man is driving the car, he's bringing old ladies down in the street and shit. And this bill addresses a lot of the driving issues that we have in our communities when it comes to law enforcement.
All right, enlighten us, God. Nice segue. All right. She asked for the link. Oh, okay. I think hey, Nike, you see, he's so busy waiting to argue with me. He didn't even put the link out there.
I did. I put it out there twice.
Hey, Lynette asking for the link.
I put it out there twice.
Hey, what's up, Lynette? How you doing?
Hey, Nike, there is a link there, Lynette. I think she's asking for the link.
You late tonight, Lynette. You missed the first two.
All right, she can address it. If she wants to go back to that, that's fine. All right, let me see something. I had a situation where I absolutely had to call for help. See that? I had been in a situation where I absolutely had to call for help. You know what? And I think that's the way that I view it. I view it as it's the community's call for help. It's the older woman. She's terrorized. She's nervous. She's not going to do anything because she's afraid. So that's why I said, from my point of view, as my way of doing something to protect the community, make the call. Lynette, what's going on?
I was trying to get on the last topic. I don't know about the old lady getting run down.
Which topic, Lynette? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hey, what's up, Lynette? How you doing?
What's up, Lynette? How you doing?
Peace.
I wanted to comment on the last two topics I was trying to get in on. But we'll go back to the just the new one, the one about the calling the cops is the relationship over. As a black woman,
Speak on it, Queen.
That's right.
I had vowed to not ever have to do, like I always said, I'm a foresee my situations and try to avoid having to do that. Not always possible. I've been in situations where I did not call when maybe I should have.
Wow.
But I'm glad that I didn't. But there are times that I did have to call. What are you calling 911 for? Wait a minute.
Huh?
Stacey's contagious.
Wait a minute.
Somebody calling
911.
911
You
right
don't make
now?
no phone calls. This is my 7-year-old coming out talking
Oh,
about
I'm like, wait a minute.
911?
Damn, I'm
I'm
about
about
to
to say
say
run. I'm about
See,
to say
Stacey, that's
run.
getting contagious, man.
All you gotta do is be
That's
around
getting
Stacey and you calling the cops. Like, that's Stacey
That's a
on
baby.
loud. Let me call this 911.
See, Stacey, you a bad role model, man.
I'm about
You got
to say
people calling
run.
the cops. You got
No.
little people calling the cops already.
She's trying to protect her mom. See?
What?
Do you need to deal with that?
It's 911, but you're not calling no 911.
Oh.
Oh my God.
See? She's trying to protect
You
her
don't
mom.
even know what we're talking about.
She's trying to
But,
protect her mom. Go ahead.
There was
Give her a
times where
storyline and everything. She's trying to protect somebody. That's all it is. All right, Stacey.
All right, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Tell me trying to protect you. That's all.
So there was times where I did have to make that call, and it was absolutely necessary, and it was unfortunate, but to me, it's along the same lines as the whole filing for child support. Whenever you bring the system into our black families, it's a detriment on some level. It's a detriment on some level, and it's unfortunate. Now, I'm going to go with Guy. I wish that in our community, we had something where a person that is in physical danger, there is a element that can step in where it doesn't require us bringing the system in.
Right.
And we could handle it in-house.
Right.
You know,
I
really
if we had
wish
a community center where we would do something similar to a trained, maybe neighborhood watch where we have a budget, to pay people who wanted to police their neighborhood. Just imagine if we had like a few community centers in every city or every major city where we had a concentration of Black population, where they could go, where the young people could go, for one, to have a release, have different activities where they, right now, a lot of this anger and frustration is them just trying to live, man. Like when I see a lot of these guys, like I said, I lost my son to the streets, right? But in the same token, I understand what's going on out there. I understand like the mentality of the people out there. You know what I mean? Like some of it is nonsense and it's like over bullshit. Like, you looked at me wrong and all of that nonsense. But a lot of it is due to the frustration of where they end up in life. You know what I mean? They don't have any hope. They don't think nobody give a shit about them. So why now go out and do what they got to do to get their next dollar or whatever? You know what I mean? That's the issue that has to be addressed. It's like we can't keep talking about our young people like they ain't shit, right? And then nobody's reaching out to pull them up. You know what I'm saying? Like to be honest, all three. I don't know what your exact. Lynette, I'm not referring to you because I don't know your exact background as far as financial and all that. But as far as the Real Brothers are concerned, we don't have to do this. Like we got ours already. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. So the thing is, we're reaching back, and that's what other people have to do. We have to reach back. You see a guy that's going through it. Reach back and be, just be. A lot of these guys ain't got no father figure. Some of them, their families is fucked up. You know what I mean? They ain't got no home life. So it's the street.
The generation under us that's important. It's
definitely the who?
The generation that's under us. We're of age. We've gained some wisdom. We've lived some life, so we know a little bit. Right. But
and there was a point in time where I was at where they is at. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Lynette, you said you wanted to you had something to say about both topics. What was it regarding the other one? Do you remember?
Little bit.
Black nationalists.
Yeah. Okay. I had looked it up and tried to prepare for the conversation a little bit, and I had come across a definition that didn't really fully encompass separation. It was just about our nationalism, our recognition. The world as a nation of people, and it goes to it also goes to the topic about gaining, being recognized. So just like the more Science Temple, they touch on it. I don't know a lot about it, so I'm not going to speak a whole lot on it. But the fact that we carry our slave owners' names, has a lot of weight in who we are looked at as a people. Like we're not recognized.
Right.
We don't.
And every other, like I was saying before, every other.
Thanks, Lynette. We appreciate you coming in once again.
All right, Lynette.
All right.
And like I was saying, like every other nationality, when they're talking about their Americanism, it's always, I'm a Native American. I'm a Black American. I'm a Hispanic American. White people don't have to go through that.
I'm an Irish American. I'm an Italian American.
Right. But Stace, when you know as well as I do, when you run into people who are just white,
Hey, God, let me ask you a
No,
question.
I'm
Guys.
saying
Let me ask you a question.
most times it's like they just consider themselves
Night.
plain
Okay,
old American.
God, have you ever asked a person, "Excuse me, man," or "What is your nationality?" They just say, "I'm white."
No, that's not what I said.
He
That's
said
not
American,
what I said.
but
Okay.
no, nobody's ever told me they were American. They've always
They always do the surname. I'm Irish American. I'm German American.
So my thoughts on that are: I am American. I am American. I am the people. We are the people.
See, and but that's that's my point. I believe
this is not a nation built like a lot of people may believe that it's a white nation for whatever reason.
I don't believe that.
But America was actually founded as an immigrant nation, a nation.
Absolutely.
You know, give me your tired, you're hungry.
Absolutely.
We're a melting pot where everybody comes. It wasn't said that it would be white. So
we used to be a melting pot.
It still is a melting pot.
Because look at the population. Just because I'm here, I could be here alone. Neither one of y'all could be here, but because I'm here, it's not a white nation. I'm here, so
absolutely.
It's
so
different.
In other words,
when I say white nation, I'm referring to power.
See, but Nike, that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with that's like saying, okay, during apartheid. Did Africa become white? No, they weren't in power, but Africa never became white, did it?
No, the majority of those folks in apartheid South Africa were black.
Right, but what I'm saying is they weren't in power.
That controlled the majority of the land was white.
But by Terry's definition, since the black people didn't have power, it was then a white nation. Is that what you're saying, Knight?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So you saying that during apartheid, Africa was a white nation?
I'm talking about the United States, Stacey.
No. By your definition, Terry, you said that a nation is based on who's in power. So during apartheid in South Africa, are you saying that South Africa was a white nation?
Yep.
Oh, then
even though the majority of the people in the nation were black.
I'm talking about power. I'm talking about status. I'm talking about finances. Just because you live in a certain country don't mean you contribute to that country's I
think the difference is also
laws.
Your perspective.
My perspective.
I think that to Guy, as Guy just said though, he said as long as I'm here, it's a melting pot, and I think I take that position because if I'm here, you can't just act like I'm not here. That's empowering to me because I'm not a victim. So therefore, if
I'm not a victim either.
No, but for you to sit here and try to say that, not you personally, but for a group of people to think that this country is anything other than a melting pot, that's them saying that you don't exist. And I'm too strong to allow you to think that because I'm here, my people are here. So therefore, you can't say that this is a white country. This country is truly a melting pot consisting of and founded on a lot of different races. It's not a white country. It's not.
It's only a white country if you believe in your mind that it's a white country. And as long everything starts.
Who owns the power? All right, let him finish.
As long as we believe that we live in a white country or that white folks, control everything that we do and say, then that's where we are going to be mentally. But as long as you start mentally by saying that this is not a white country, this is my country. There should be justice in my country. There will be justice in my country.
There you go.
And then you act on those things and your actions show that that's what your belief is. America can never be a white country.
Absolutely.
How I don't see how y'all guys don't see who owns the power in this country. Name me a black person. Name me a black person that controls our economy, that controls our media, that controls our gold, that controls our diamonds, that controls the auto industry, that controls the oil industry, that controls the government. I mean, come on, like what? I don't understand. Like, what part of y'all? It blows my mind. What part of this y'all missing?
Go ahead, Guy.
So the job and equity bill let me tell you all about it a little bit.
All right, there you go. Guys gonna enlighten us.
Now let's move on.
All right, as we move on. All right.
Yeah.
So tell us about this guy.
Okay, so Council Member Isaiah Thomas introduced a bill last October, and the bill was designed to promote public safety and also reduce discrimination in traffic stops or just in policing in Philadelphia. And one of the reasons why I think this is a topic I think we should discuss is because we can see some of the things that are being done to reform criminal justice and policing in our communities. And we can take that and I'd like to take this topic and try to build on what we can do next in policing and in our communities to also reduce discrimination and the negative impact of the criminal justice system on us. So what happened, Isaiah Thomas wrote a bill, and this bill was based on information. Okay, so everybody knows I work for the Defender Association of Philadelphia, which is the public defender's office, right? And we have what's called a police accountability unit. And our police accountability unit collects statistics and data and demographics and geographic information, and we try to put it to the best use possible. And one of those uses is to support new legislation and new laws and new bills. And one of the new bills, this bill is based on research done by the Defender Association of Philadelphia, where I work, right? And they compiled the data, they presented it. Councilmember Isaiah Thomas drafted the legislation. He presented it to Congress, to City Council rather, and it was passed. And what the bill is called the Driving Equity Bill. And what it was designed to do is two things. One was to end traffic stops that promote discrimination. And the second was to keep traffic stops that promote public safety. So what it does is, and it's a two-part bill, it's a two-piece bill. The second piece of the bill provides for the distribution of data that's collected during traffic stops going forward. The name of the person stopped, the name of the officer or that ID, the nature of the stop, some demographic information and some geographic information that's going to be made available to the public, right? So what they did was they broke down the driving code into two sections now. So you have primary traffic stops and secondary traffic stops. And so they've been reclassified. So the motor vehicle code violations were reclassified. And it was done in hopes to reduce humiliation and trauma on Black folks who experience these traffic stops, because we all know these traffic stops can cause intensive trauma. It can raise your anxiety through the roof. It can cause fear and terror. And a lot of times these guys pull their guns first before they ask you questions, and then they ask you dumbass questions they shouldn't be asking you. So they're trying to jam you up the whole time. Then they write you a shitload of tickets based on bullshit, and then you got to rumble all this through the courts. So it's creating, this poverty that also drives criminality, and it's just a vicious cycle all the way around. And
so guy, I have a question then. So
yeah.
The law has passed then, right? It was passed by City Council?
By 14-2 vote, yes.
So now, how does that affect the average person on the street now? What should someone know if they're out driving innocently and get pulled over? How does this affect them? What should they know?
All right, so this is what I was getting to when I was telling you that they reclassified the motor vehicle code and the violations. And so they reclassified them into two groups. One is secondary, one is primary. The secondary offenses, the police will no longer stop you for those violations. Those secondary violations are violations like a busted taillight, an obstructed view in your windshield, an expired registration, shit like that. Now, the primary offenses that they're going to be stopping you for are going to be public safety violations,
moving violations,
speeding, running a red light, shit like that. Yeah, running a stop sign. Yeah. So those are going to be the primary that they are still going to stop you for. And this is supposed to improve police and community relations also. And that's a quote from Mayor Kenny when he signed it. So with all of that being said, And also let's keep in mind some of the numbers that drove this bill, that from the data that was collected by the Police Accountability Unit of the Defender Association of Philadelphia. Black people in Philadelphia are 115% more likely to be pulled over by law enforcement than their white counterparts.
150%.
115% more likely. And they're less likely, black people are less likely in all of those instances to be carrying contraband while they're operating these vehicles. Wow. And also, it was found that black people drive actually 16% less than their white counterparts. So we drive substantially less than white people.
Getting pulled over twice.
We're getting pulled over more than twice as much as white people, and they're finding less contraband on us than they find on white people.
Right.
So this was driving that wedge in the community relations between our community and police and law enforcement. So they wanted to work on that. So I just wanted to drop those numbers in there. So what I'm saying is I think that's a great start, and I commend Council Member Isaiah Thomas for drafting that bill and for getting it passed through council, and for Mayor Kenny for signing it. I think still there's a long way to go in policing in our communities.
Absolutely.
And I think this is, a viable model, but we need to find a way to apply it to pedestrians, to people in their homes, to people out shopping, for people just being black anywhere.
But it's a start.
We need to find a way to apply that kind of a model to everything.
But it's a start.
I just wanted to throw it out there and get y'all feedback on that and see what y'all thought and how can we move forward with something like that.
So you like it because it's a start.
I like it because it's going in the right direction. I like it because it removes a lot of that interaction between people and between law enforcement and our community members, who all of a sudden now find themselves with $500 in tickets, 7 different dates in the courthouse, and they got to deal with a suspended license, and then maybe tickets on top of that, and then maybe they got to cut their hours at work because now they can't drive. They got to take their kid out of soccer because now they can't take their kid back and forth because the license is suspended, and all of those things that are related.
And like you said, Gob, I mean, we still have a long way to go. But it's a start.
I think we need to build on that. We need to build on that.
So in other words, you agree with me, Terry? You know where I'm going with this. A little bit of
incremental change.
I know where you're going with it.
That's bullshit.
I knew you do.
Yeah, incremental change can eat a dick. Hey, look, it shouldn't be no incremental change, because if I'm American, I keep saying it. If I'm American, treat me like an American.
So is this a good idea, Knight? Is this a good idea that this was passed?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
There you go. A little bit of incrementalism, right?
Hey, wait. The law is a good idea.
Say it again.
If they follow it, if they follow it, or if they enforce it.
Here's the thing with that. That's the beautiful piece of it. There were 2 bills, not just the driving equality bill. There was a second piece, this counterpart that goes along with it, that says, because it's an accountability piece, after 120 days, it gives the police right now. So it passed last week or so, or maybe a week and a half ago, it passed. So it gave the police 120 days from the date that it passed to then now have to provide that data to public officials or to the public in general with regards to those stops. So we will have the data. It should be available to us. We have to see to it that the police follow through with their promise to provide that information, which we're hopeful will be the case.
And the reason why we all thought, as soon as God mentioned this, we all thought it was a good idea because, as they say, if you don't know,
we got that incremental change, we good now.
It's a good change. It's a start. Nike, finally we agree with something. We agree. It's a start. Thank you coming to my side. Man. But anyway, we thought it was a good idea because, as they say, if you don't know the laws, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. So now if you're driving out here, they're not supposed to. Now that's not to say that they won't. They're not supposed to be stopping you for, as God said, those secondary reasons, obstruction of your windows, or those kind of infractions. They're not supposed to be stopping you for.
Let me ask you this, Stace.
Go ahead, Nike.
Do you think them stopping black people at 115% more than white people, do you think that's an issue?
Absolutely, it's an issue. Absolutely. That was it. That was an easy one. That was an easy one. Thanks. Yeah, that's an issue. So,
right.
oh, damn. All right. So yeah. So nice. So did we hit everything? Did we hit all the topics?
No, I think it's one left.
No, we got one left.
So all right, it was 9:05. What you
Real
thinking?
ones.
Real ones.
That
Okay.
shouldn't take long.
Y'all, you want to hit it or you want to push it?
It's up to you.
What do you think, guy?
I say hold on to that, John, because I think even
We
though you
beat up.
might think it's gonna be a quick speed through, John,
Yeah,
I got my thoughts on it, and I want to get
We
all of
beat
them out
up.
there. Yeah, I think we got a track record
All
today
right.
of really tearing these Jones to shreds.
Yo, hey, I told you we was getting hot and heavy today. Like, you
Yo,
know what I
man.
mean?
This
Hey.
is what we do, man. I mean, but you know what though? But again, I think as long as we can discuss issues and learn from each other, we don't have to agree. But the fact that we can put it out there and I hope that we both will consider the other person's point of view later, like God did, and bring it back to the table. I mean, but we talk throughout the week anyway. So I'll explain to you why you were wrong again when it comes up Tuesday.
You gonna check me again? All right, Steve.
I'll explain to you why you were wrong.
You gonna straighten me out? All right.
But this is the way it's supposed to happen. All right, somebody put something up. We want to read this one. I can't read that. I think these new driving laws are a good direction to go in for as promoting some kind of change. I'm not sure these bills specifically sound real smart, though. I don't know. We got to see. I don't think they're real smart. I wish this person would clock on and say tell us why they don't think they're real smart. I don't know. Can you see it?
I think say it again. I think this a guy Ferkdo Devlin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ferg, that's my man. He used to come to Just Words. I wish he would get on. The only part that I question is where he says, I'm not sure these bills specifically sound real smart. I'm just curious what he means by that. That's why
that was his safety net. He made sure that he covered himself on both sides. If he was wrong, he could be cool. If he was right, he cool. Come on, read it the way he wrote it. You see what he wrote. You can't eat both opinions. Like, I agree with it, but you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna be safe either way. So
there you go. I like the laws, but they're kind of stupid.
Yeah, right.
I love the discussion.
Right.
You guys are awesome. Good to see you, Terry. Who up here cracking on Terry? Right, let's take this off real quick. Take this down.
Hey,
right. Go ahead, Nike.
So,
we're gonna hit
anybody
that next
got
week?
any final thoughts or anything? Oh.
You got a random?
No. Don't forget to let everybody know we're doing a live show in Philly next week.
Next week.
I don't know where we're gonna be.
We're gonna be at
where I'm told.
It's gonna be at the what's that place down at the gallery? The Rec. That's that. It's in the gallery, in the old gallery, like on the second floor. We'll put the information out on the group chat throughout the week. We're gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
You coming down? Terry, did you mention?
Yo, man, all my young brothers. Yo, Phil, man, let's round up some of these brothers, man, and see if we can get them down to the joint.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody said, how do you jump on? You click on a link. Who said that?
Ferg,
let me give you this
Ferg.
link. Let me give you this link. Hold up.
Yeah, click on the link and join us. The rec is in 9th and Market. It's in the gallery. Terry's coming to Philly. Hopefully God can make it. Hey, God, you coming down, man?
When is it again? Because y'all never told me. Y'all know
You know
y'all
what?
never told me about that.
I'm snitching.
About none of that.
God, it was Terry's fault. It was all Terry's fault.
Wasn't me.
What day
it's still Sunday, the guy. We're just gonna all be together and do it live, and hopefully some people can come down and join us. So it's Sunday, same time. The rec is in the gallery.
I know where it's at. Voices in Power. They hold their joints there every now and then.
Right.
Yeah,
yep.
the fashion district. Somebody said.
District. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we really would like to get some of our we want to get as many people down there as possible, but we really want to see our young brothers come out, and we got your back, man, but you gotta meet us halfway, man. we want to help y'all. We want to grow with y'all. You know what I mean? We want to get y'all to grow together. But we can only hold out invitation. You know what I mean? It's up to you if you accept it or not. You know what I mean? We can only meet you halfway.
Ferg.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Nah, how you doing?
Ferg's a poet. Used to come down to Just Words years ago. So that was
What's
about
going
how long?
on, my man?
I wasn't trying to cover myself on both sides. Like I don't know how it's going. I don't know how it's going to work until we see. Right? I'm just saying, like
So take a position and tell us what your position is, Ferg.
I guess my position would be that I don't think it's that smart right now, from what I know of it. Maybe I don't know that much of it. You say like busted tail lights, like, so that gets into like safety shit. And like, you get your car inspected every year to make sure everything's running right, so you're not a hazard on the road. So Good point. It's going in a good direction because something's got to change, right? But so those things enter my mind when I think of like driving specifically.
You know what, Ferg? And what you said is absolutely right. But I think, unfortunately, and I don't know, and God could probably speak to this, they probably find, and Ferg, you know how this is. When they pull you over, what's the first thing they say? Oh, you had a busted tail light. Or they make stuff up.
Yeah, and then it smells like marijuana in here, and then all the bullshit. Right. Yeah, I know.
So it's probably, God, you want to speak on that, man?
So yeah, those are the specific reasons why they will not be pulling you over. They will not be pulling you over because they smell marijuana. They will not be pulling you over because of a busted tail light. They will not be pulling you over because there's an obstruction of view of your license plate,
and that could be just dice hanging up on your mirror.
Right. Those are the most, those cause us the most anxiety when they pull us over as Black people. So I want to understand just from Ferg, what do you believe about that is not smart? Because me as a Black man, I want to be pulled over as least as possible by law enforcement because of what they causes to me internally, emotionally, and mentally, and physically, because it's also a physical reaction.
Because Black men have a certain fear.
What is it that's not smart about reducing the interactions between law enforcement and Black people in our communities?
I don't think that. I don't know that this is the. Because like I said, there's safety issues. There's shit in place for a reason. Like a car operates the way it does for a reason. Like it has turning signals for a reason. It gets inspected for reasons. So like that I feel is like, it's factual, right? We do that for a reason. It's separate than the social issue. The social issue is real. The interaction is real. I don't know that these safety issues are the ones to cut, you know what I mean, for the social issue.
Well, it hasn't been said that folks still won't be ticketed for those violations. They're a different classification of violations that don't require law enforcement to get involved. That's not necessarily even an issue for law enforcement to get involved in. Like those are citations that are issued by the Department of Transportation, right? Or they're issued by law enforcement, but they actually go through like they don't
parking authority,
criminal court, right? So what the purpose of them being involved is they're taking on a role of another administrative organization that should take on that role. I do believe that it is important for items like safety in a vehicle to be addressed, and they have to be addressed sometimes through citations. I don't believe that law enforcement is the arm of enforcement for those violations. It should be the administrative arm that they're going to use from this point going forward. So those things will be addressed. So while you say they're stupid, it was my deficiency for not explaining that piece, but I'll explain it now. They will be addressed, but just not by law enforcement.
Now, you know what's funny? I think that the what jumps out to me, I mean, let's be honest. The way your interaction, Ferg, is the way that it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be when they pull you over because you truly have.
All right, thanks, Ferg.
All right, peace.
Okay, Ferg, be safe, man. Good to see you.
Thanks, Ferg. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Don't make this the last either, Ferg. I think the difference is, though, Ferg's interaction is different because it's the way that it's supposed to be. When the police ride by Ferk and see that he has they can't see his license plate because something is obstructing it, and they can't, and it shouldn't be the case. They pull him over. Mr. Ferk, this is, please remove this so that we can read your license plate. That's fine. But the problem is our interaction, like we said earlier, talking about the wife calling the police. Our interaction, we see that they use that as a reason to pull us over when they shouldn't. They use that as a way. So and therein lies the problem. Ferk's interaction is different. Ferk is like, but no, but they should pull you over if you have an expired inspection.
Ferk white.
The brakes might not work. Yeah, he was right.
Oh, well, yeah, it should. What the fuck?
It's different. Right. It's different.
Fuck that law then, right? Like, let's not. Why we got that law then?
When you get pulled over for this,
and that's not no change in the states.
Right? He don't know what happens in our lives when that happens. I mean, but I do appreciate his input.
But
the experience.
But if you get rid of that law too, Stace, if you still pulling people over, then why have that law? So you the one said that's incremental change. So how is that change if you still saying go ahead and pull them over? You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways.
You kind of threw me off on that one. Yeah, I'm lost, Knight. Yeah, I don't understand that one.
You don't understand it? No, you'll never understand when you're wrong, dude. Come on, man.
I guess because I'm never wrong, dude.
You just said they should still be pulling people over. But then
no. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said from Ferk's point of view.
Ferk said that.
He said they should be pulling people
from
over.
A safety point of view, they should still be pulling people over.
I thought you agreed with him, though.
No, I say I understand his perspective.
His perspective is coming as a white man, not as a black man. Correct. And we talking about black men.
Correct. Let me see something.
He said my interaction with law enforcement has never gone. Yeah,
but listen, I tell you this though. First
you a brother at heart. He know he a brother at heart anyway.
But it don't matter if you're a brother at heart or not. He's never had an interaction with law enforcement as a black man. And he never will.
It's still a difference, right? Yeah. No, but he's right. See, but you know what though? And this is very interesting because, like you said, I mean, and you see videos of it all the time. When we get approached, our anxiety level rises immediately. That's probably not him. He probably would be the one to say, "Why you pull me over? You know you wrong." Blah blah blah. Whereas we're gonna sit there, most likely, most of us will sit there and just want it to be over.
Yeah, we want to get as far away from them as fast as we can.
Here's my paperwork. Please leave me alone.
Right.
But therein lies the problem.
Right.
It's like we can't relate because we should be feeling the same way that Ferk does.
We should. That's what equity is going to be in America.
Correct.
When we can go outside and not feel like the color of my skin is going to dictate any of my movements for today.
If we had our own nation, we wouldn't have to go through that.
Bam. Nice. All right, y'all. We're gonna wind this thing down. Not like now. All right.
Just saying. You know what I mean?
Put this little exclamation point on
it.
He said, period.
Period. Hey, guy, you got any closing thoughts, man?
I just want to say peace, man. I'm thankful to be here today, man. It's been a great day.
Yeah, we had this is a great show we had today, man. I ain't even listened to, we usually listen afterwards and then we get together, critique it. But I could already know this was a pretty good. I'll be honest, Stace, we got into a heated one over this, didn't we? Because I didn't want to do it.
It was interesting.
I didn't want to do it.
Terry didn't want to do it.
I didn't want to do it.
But, as we said, I mean, this is what it's all about. Discussion, argument, whatever you want to call it. But when it all shakes down, we still brothers. We'll laugh and joke later. We might argue again later. We might argue with guys. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
And this should be the example.
Exactly.
Even with Democrats and Republicans and all that kind of shit.
Correct.
You can have different opinions. And you can voice your opinion. I can voice my opinion. And then we can come to some middle ground, or you can agree to disagree, but it doesn't have to be like get to the point of name calling and
or saying I can't believe you don't believe in you.
Yeah, your party ain't shit. Your party ain't shit.
Right.
None of the parties ain't shit. That's another thing. If we had a Black Nation, we have our own party too.
Damn. All right, Knight, closing words, man. What do you think, Knight?
My closing words is I would just everything that you hear on this podcast, usually is pretty reliable.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just ask, like, before you even take our words for it, because everything that we say may not be gospel, do the research. If you hear us bring up certain things and you got a question about it, you know, do a little. It don't take long. Hey, it's the internet age. It don't take long to find out if what I'm saying or if what Stacy's saying or what Guy is saying is bullshit. You know what I mean?
Bring it to the table.
Right.
It's a learning process for all of us.
Right. And then, you know, look up for yourself and then have an informed opinion. You may not agree with me. You may not agree with Stacy. You may not agree with Guy, but form your opinion on the correct information.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Yeah.
And I like to say, I like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm glad to see Ferg join in, man. I'm glad to see that. Lynette, thank you for joining us. Thank everybody for making comments. Please don't forget to Laurie says Google it. That's right. Use the Google machine. Don't forget to please subscribe on YouTube. This in case you didn't catch the whole thing, you can catch it all on all of the major platforms. But once again, we'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, next week we'll be live at the Rec in the gallery. So come down and join us, please. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.
You got any last words, Guy, before we get off?
No, that's it. I'm good.
You did it.
Yeah.
He ain't got no last words. All right, y'all. Later.
Peace.